going live, you go off.
Great.
As soon as we go live, see, this is what we
God
have to go to.
Damn it!
Oh, there went the cussing on the first.
I give.
Want to try and get one up on
Hey, there he is.
Sorry, kid, it ain't my first county.
See, good rib. I can take ribs, Rip. I know when you're ribbing.
Yeah, right. Mr. Technology.
And it's been to all these different damn places.
Yeah.
Seen all this. I am so far above them mentally with mental gymnastics.
Like my...
As far as the rest of them did, what I did was I intimidated them.
Camera's off.
Because I didn't give them.
You know what?
Camera, I feel like I'm looking the wrong way or something. Hey, do you got this thing today? You got this thing I bought you? You put your phone on it?
You ask me that every week.
I know. How about this week? Do you have it this week?
Okay. If I was, yeah. You know the answer, so why even ask it?
Big gold.
So maybe I thought it surprised me one of these days.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll run right over and get it.
It'd be like when I was watching you on TV and all of a sudden you finally won a match. Maybe you'll finally have this, you know?
Well, if your daddy wasn't the king, you wasn't the one no matches. But since you was figured in because of the popularity of the king, you're undefeated still.
Think of all those Muncie matches I won. There was no king involved there.
Oh, King was there, wasn't he?
He was there, but he wasn't.
Okay, well, no, he got you so fired up. He gave you the king pep talk that he knew that just with the king being there, that his boy was going to win.
Yep.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Little.
You are allowed to work out today, you know.
I know. Hey, I'm down to 234. I'm on a
shit.
I've never had big biceps that way. Like mine don't. I got the long skinny arms, man.
No.
Let's see if we're even on here before we keep talking.
Yeah.
Anybody hear us or see us? We're 70QQ. Oh, there he is. Audio and video is good. He's there. Perfect. Screaming Baboon said your beard looks good, Rip. Beard's looking good. Look at that. You combed your hair too. Where'd you get that brush from?
Well, there's two of them in the bathroom. I usually brush it, but then it goes just straight up in the air. Then I'll lay down here on the bed for a second, and then it's all bad.
You ever brush the beard?
Yeah, I did it today.
You did?
I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I had that jelly all in my beard.
Nice.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Man, we don't have many in here today. 13's all it's showing. 14. We're light today, Rip.
Well, it's like a lot of women are heavy all the time, so we're just gonna switch it around and be light today for a while.
No, after 3.5 years, they've seen your act, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
I was looking. I hadn't even really looked much lately, but hell, we're almost at 12,000 subscribers. We've been at that 11,000 mark for a long time. We're at 11,992. We're about to get to 12,000.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe somebody can make some kayfabe Fiazzoni ones right now and get on there and this kind of gimmick and that kind of gimmick. Maybe Screaming Baboon can get all these women to sign up.
Yeah.
And they can be that.
We had a couple big days. May 13th, we had 8. 17th, we had 11. 21st, we had 7. Those are big days for us now. So we're getting there. We're almost 12,000. How about that? I got stains all over my shirt. See all those stains? I got like bleach stains or rust stains or something. That's how long I've been wearing this thing.
Was that from labor or what?
No. Labor? No.
I can't see what your shirt says anyway.
Neon. Energy drink.
Oh, is it?
It's an energy drink I used to peddle, used to sell.
Oh, okay. Well,
somebody put in the comment. Oh, go ahead.
So that's the free T-shirts from you being the sponsor then.
Well, I actually bought all the T-shirts and gave them out to people to advertise for me. Stephen Key says Rip's NBA playoff predictions have been spot on for 3 weeks in a row. I didn't even know that.
Well, what can you say?
Good job, man. What do you think tonight? Pacers, Knicks, game 2.
Well,
This is a game they should lose, but
they
they
should
did win.
lose.
They did
I
win
think,
game 2 in Cleveland.
hey,
So
that game the other night, that's got to be the greatest finish of any game in the history of the goddamn world. And then when the choke side come up from Halliburton, right, and Reggie Miller's announcing, holy shit, it didn't get any better than that.
yeah, I mean it was a great game. It's going to be hard to follow that tonight.
We're just hoping for any kind of, and as far as OKC, man, there ain't nothing. They've beaten everybody. I guess that's why they won all those games. And I think they're going to make a mockery out of their game with Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm over what's his name though. Do you watch him at all? I really like the guy, but God, have you seen how much he just falls down and flops all the time?
Oh yeah,
FTA.
yeah. Well,
Falls down like every play. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it ain't a foul unless they call it. But if they're calling that shit, Jesus Christ!
I'm over it.
If you blow on him, O'Shea, he goes a flipping and a flopping.
Yeah, I hate that.
If he was playing at Geyser Park, they'd have said, "Son, you better go to Shields Park because we got Red Almond underneath the basket."
No
here,
kidding.
and he'll be knocking you on your ass.
He wouldn't last one night at Geyser Park.
No, not with the Allman Brothers, Red and Troy in the middle. Shit.
Pinion Haver was here early in spirit. He's in green. Was here early. Todd Montgomery here. Happy Memorial Day to all the vets. Frank's Pickle Barrel ass in green is here. Screaming Baboon in green is here. Talion Concrete, baby. 70QQ. Gregory Mala. Hop Daddy Gaming FTF. Oh shit, I'm live, he says. Frank says, hello, sluts, perverts, mofo, and homies.
Okay. All the above.
Hello, Ripper Verse. What's that mean?
I don't know.
That's from George Jets in Outer Space. Shane Parks throws us in a $2 super sticker. That reminds me, Rip. You wanna tell the people today what we're doing?
Well, we're Greg Smith, who's probably the smartest guy on the podcast, as he tells me and Vaughn when we're wrong about something. Either that or he's got the fastest of Googling something that said, no, that ain't fucking right. Oh, we're past 30 seconds. So
you did that anyway.
Okay. So I think any donations, Greg's been having not a good time in life right now. So all the donations that we take in today for questions and stuff like that, I think me and Vaughn have, since he's got 2 votes and I got 1, he's decided that we should donate to Greg.
Don't let Rip fool you. It was actually the Hustler Rip Rogers kind-hearted idea, not mine. Rip Rogers' idea today to donate any of the super chats that we have come in today. So don't let that slow you down today. Super chat money is going to go out to Greg Smith today. Greg's wife had passed away shortly after our show, a couple days, I think, after our show last week. She's been fighting cancer for quite a while. We have had the GoFundMe up here a couple times as well. So I did put that in the comments. I think I pinned it. I'm not sure, but if you go to the top of the comments, the link for that GoFundMe is there also. Or if you just want to do super chats today, I will either send all that to Greg if he has an account like a PayPal or something, or I will put it in the GoFundMe, whichever he prefers. So I did reach out to him. He knows. He said he's going to try to get on here. Doesn't know if he can or not, but he's been with us almost from the beginning, I'd say, Rip. Pretty close, if not.
Yeah, he's corrected me even more than you. So
he does it in a kind way, though.
Yeah, it's just like you did it. It's like wearing the neon shirt, whatever you got on today. And I don't have, I never got a neon shirt.
Yeah,
I never even got a free sample of their product either.
Okay, I gave you your own shirt, Wrestling with Rip Rogers shirt that you wouldn't even wear. Why would I give you a neon shirt?
Yeah, I got a Wrestling with Rip. Oh, you mean the?
Yeah, I gave you our show shirt, our actual show shirt, Wrestling with Rip Rogers. I gave you one of those, and you wouldn't wear it to promote our own show. Why would I give you neon?
Well, I was wanting the free drink,
Mm.
Hey,
Anyways,
okay, a lot of
uh,
things happening. Mighty Joe is working TV for WWE tonight, Savannah TV.
uh-oh, Rip's got his notes out. Here we go. Go ahead, run through your notes real quick.
Yeah, I've already covered most of it. But
10 minutes in, he's done with his notes. Awesome.
yeah, but yeah, Big George had a time. He stooges on me that Mighty Joe's going to be at the big TV thing, and is talking about an angle where he could be with he could sort of be like Triple H's son, as Joe's got a picture of it, and there's Triple H with Joe's mom and stuff like that. Joe sees it and he's calling him dad, and there's Triple H denying it and stuff, but there's a picture of Joe's mom with Triple H, and all of a sudden, and Triple H don't know what to say, and all of a sudden Stephanie's right there and she's heard it all. Then they fade to black, and Joe's over. And he could be Triple H's potential son. Wow.
Is this a spoiler? Is this what's happening tonight, or is this what you think should happen?
No, that's what I was just thinking in my mind what should happen,
So is he really an extra tonight?
Yeah, he's an extra tonight. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, Big George, he stooges off everything with
Where are they at tonight?
in Savannah.
Savannah.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of
Georgia.
WWE, did you see they pulled out WrestleMania, pulled out of New Orleans for next year?
Yeah,
You
they're coming back to Vegas, baby.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because they don't have to tell the reasons, do they? They probably made more money than they ever had.
Why do you think though?
I don't have any idea. How would I know? I'm not the in.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. I
That's
didn't really like the Vegas call in the first place, but maybe they did all right. I don't know.
Well, and especially announcing that a year ahead, all them Europeans can come over and come in for the week, and all the independent companies, they can all run shows, and all them people in town, everybody makes money. So what the hell?
Well, yeah, they already had announced New Orleans. Now New Orleans saying how much money they're going to lose because of that. They've already had all this stuff planned and scheduled. They always do it that far in advance. New Orleans was the location.
Right. But what I'm saying is it ain't the same old, it ain't Vince McMahon calling the shots now.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So whatever they do from now on is going to be different than it was in the past.
It's actually the same. They're going right back to Vegas.
Well,
so it's actually exactly the same that they did in the past. They just did it last year, and they're doing it again next year.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, if you advertise the Detroit Silverdome or whatever it is, or not Market Square Arena, but whatever the building is in Indianapolis downtown, or if they're doing it at the football place, you can, if they did it once, and then they usually wait 10 years or so if they did a good house, but now they're going right back.
Yeah, but they do a good house everywhere they go for WrestleMania. It's not like some places they go, oh, we didn't get a good crowd this year.
Well, then why didn't you ask the question? Because nobody knows but them.
Maybe Greg Smith will know. He just got into the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
He said, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. We've had a rough week. Watching you guys helps give me some sense of normalcy. Glad you're here. I don't know about the normalcy part. I know what you're saying, but you got Rip Rogers on here, so that's far from normal. Do you have any idea, Greg Smith, or anybody out there, why they're going back to Vegas supposedly? But in that speculation, or have they already announced Vegas? You don't know that answer, Rip?
Well, I heard it, that the big deal was they was coming back to Vegas. I heard that yesterday.
You mean they're going back to Vegas? You're almost saying it like
whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
You're whatever.
You're going back to Vegas. Come on, get with it.
Get with it? Are you kidding me?
Get with it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, get with it. Yeah.
It's supposed to be get with it, you geek.
Yeah, get with it, you geek. Sure,
okay.
Deal and you can't even follow your own deal.
I can't, can I? Hey, before I forget,
they're coming right back here to Vegas. Woo!
Before I get, it's my sister's birthday today. Jan Plump, she turned 73 today, so good for her. She's made it. She's still under 5 feet, but what the hell? 73 years old to my big sister.
Happy birthday.
Boy, I should tell. I don't know if I should tell this story or not because it's sort of provocative. And
You have to tell it now.
Okay. I pushed something on my phone. Anyway, God, when I used to have a paper out when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then my sister was graduated. She in 1970, but she had a slumber party with all those girls at our house. So I got to go creeping through that's a bad word, isn't it? Creeping, but I was tippy-toeing through the new room we put in our house. It was like the guest, and it was a TV room was what it was, where it used to be the old carport.
Mm-hmm.
So I look around there, and there's this one girl, which I better not name because, there's about 4 girls are just laying there. You know, their mouths are open, and they got loose. Anyway, some things were falling out, and I'm just sitting there oogling it, and I got to look at all. I think it took me about at least 5 minutes to walk 30 feet through that room or whatever. But what a memory for that was of me waking up and going to pass the Courier Journal in the morning, and me just shaking my head and going, man, what a great sight that was to wake up to. But anyway, happy birthday.
Are you younger or older? I can't. You're what? You're
No,
old, younger.
Yeah, I'm 2 years younger. Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
So anyway,
So is she watching the show today? You think?
I doubt it. You know, she might be. I didn't, but I got a lot of cousins that watch it and stuff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she can look it up and see that I was putting her over and stuff.
So out of these 29 people, half of them are your cousins, huh?
Oh, probably 3 of them.
All right. So yeah, let's get some super chats in here so we can send them to Greg Smith, please. Let's not be light on the super chats today. It's going for a good cause today. So get your super chat questions in. Get your answers in to our questions, and let's get this show on the road. Big George in Green says, "Who was Big Bill Monroe?" Rip.
No, but not Big Bill Monroe. Big Willie Monroe.
I mean, the question says, "Who was Big Bill Monroe?" I don't know.
Well, they mean Big Will. Big Will, he worked for ICW. Big Will stood 6'10", weighed 454. He was so fat couldn't get through the door. That's what Pez Watley said. So Big Will, he come in off the road since he was 6'10". We gave him the look-see. 6'10", weighed 454, and in a couple of weeks he was gone, but he had the time of his life. So we got him into some alcoholic beverages. Pezovan got him on some little Bob Hope, the Diazote, with this and that. And Big Will had the time of his life, but he was still 6'10", weighed 454. I can see a battle between him and Chili, 6'10", 6'12" Chili.
Chili's down to like 280 something, I think.
Oh shit, he's skin and bones, ain't he?
Yeah, he was 4 something. I don't know what. Or something. Everybody's saying Vegas is broke. That's why they're going back to Vegas to do a solid for Vegas, I think.
Well, that'd be good.
Gregory Mala, how was wrestling Owen Hart? $1.99 super chat.
How was wrestling Owen Hart? Well, hell, he was easy on the head. Of course, he wanted to get all his shit in, but I'd worked with him a lot in Calgary, so it was easy to get all his shit in. So I made him look as good as possible. Any of the Harts, they all knew what they was doing in the ring. But Owen, he was a funny guy. He was a ribber, and I think he's probably in the top 10 of the tightest guys about spending money. He'd have the girls pick him up at the airport. The girls take him to the town. He'd stay all night at one of the girls' house, just get for the free thing, and then they'd give him food and food to go. So Owen could almost get by on nothing. He was a smart guy.
I hear people say you were the cheapest person in wrestling.
Well, I was in the top 10 because we don't know everybody that since wrestling was invented. So I think I'd be in the top 10. Owen was legendary, just like Mick Foley was too. So that's probably the top 3 in sort of my era or whatever that were nationally known cheapskates.
Mick was like that, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he would sleep in the car a lot. He was good.
See if we got anything else out there. Shane Parks in green. Rip and Vaughn, any wrestler past or present you wish you could have interviewed? Huh.
Well, I'd like to have Andre on here. Vaughn, Hey, let's get Arnold on here too. Let's get Lou Ferrigno in here. Let's get Dick the Bruiser in here. And his,
Oh, that'd been good.
He would have Dick the Bruiser been good. Bruno had been good. Oh my boy.
I think it would have been cool to have this stuff going on when it was still kayfabe, like when people still thought it was real.
Yeah.
Like that would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear Bruiser just ribbing everybody and talking. Then he would try and switch his voice just as rib, and he'd squeak and stuff, and he'd think he was putting you on or whatever.
I tell you, who I want to have on here is Miss Texas.
Well,
that's my choice, Shane Parks. Miss Texas. Miss Texas, if you're watching out there, we got to get you on here soon. That's my.
I sent a thing to her. I'm still waiting on her.
Maybe if you would have been a little nicer to her at that convention and didn't cock block me, we would have had her on this show already.
No, you just needed to take over and said, "Hey."
I tried taking over. You came sprinting up there, the fastest I've seen you move in 45 years. Yeah, no, you were in a dead sprint coming over there. No, I tried taking over.
I might have clump dragged all the way up there. Let's put it that way.
No.
But I had the impure thoughts about her for years and years and years before you. So yeah.
You would have beat Carl Lewis in a 40 the other day when we were at that.
Oh my God!
All right, we got some super chats coming in now. I appreciate it. Greg Smith appreciates it. How many? Big George says, how many bumps are left on your bump card? I got probably 0 in mine. I threw my back out yesterday.
If I fall down,
one.
Yeah,
it'd be one. You wouldn't get it back up.
If I fall down, there's going to be a conglomeration of people to pull me up because if I fall down, I can't get back up. That's all there is to it.
So you would have one. That would be it.
Yeah.
Gregory Mala, $4.99 super sticker. Appreciate it. If you got another question in there, I'll get it. I'll scroll down and get it to you. William Lynn, same deal in the house. $1.99 super sticker. Get your question in there. Shane Parks, we're on fire today. $2 super sticker. Ever wrestled George Weingroff? I guess. Weingroff. I'm assuming that is.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I probably wrestled George, probably 150 times. And then when I went to Watts's, George was quickly to follow. So yeah, George was an Olympian with the handicapped Olympian, whatever it was, disabled Olympics, whatever it was.
Like Special Olympics?
Yeah, George was legally blind, but he won a gold medal in wrestling. And he used to be a school teacher in Indianapolis, and he was a wrestling coach at the Indiana School for the Blind. But George was the son of the legendary Saul Weingroff, so it wasn't his first county fair as far as wrestling and knowing the wrestling business. And he was a business partner those years with me when we was in ICW. And George is one of those world's nicest guys. He wasn't like me, who was nothing but evil. But anyway, yeah, George was great, and he was his partner. He wrestled at Tennessee Chattanooga along with Pistol Pez Watley, who used to be my old tag team partner in ICW. So and Pez was actually trained by Saul Weingroff, George's dad. But University of Tennessee Chattanooga heavyweight Pez Watley, and the 189 pounder was George Weingroff.
Wow.
Don't get any better than that.
That's awesome. Speaking of, thanks, Shane Park. Speaking of not getting any better than that, though, Frank's Pickle Barrel asked with a $20 super chat today. Says, you the man, Greg. Rip, why is Serena so good at moves, but almost no charisma for TV wrestling?
Oh, you got to ask Tony Khan. He's the man that runs all that thing. If they got her being whatever she is, doing that certain character, I guess if you were the world's greatest woman wrestler, then all of a sudden you was Miss Charisma too, you'd make everybody not look very good. So I guess they're just harping on that she's the world's, the woman of 1,000 holds, Deeb's dojo and stuff like that. So I guess that's the reason for that, because just think, if you're the best at talking and you're and the best at wrestling, what's anybody else can do? A lot of times you're told to hold it down that you look too good.
Yeah,
like,
I would say that's part of her gimmick, if you will, would be my guess.
Okay.
That she doesn't have charisma. Isn't she like a AB all business, isn't she?
Yeah. She's doing well for herself. So what the hell? Of course, she spent so much time there at with us at OVW, working with the guys, working same size, working babyface, working heel, going to 2 classes, putting herself through school, and she was a teacher at the performance center. There she was an instructor, and then she quit and went to AEW. She got sick of it. Said it was so much stress, and they just, no matter what, they just bitch about it. But what the fuck, right?
I'm not going to go into detail, but I played Truth or Dare with her one night.
Uh-oh.
Just throwing that out there.
Hey, is your old lady listening to this today?
I don't know. Her mom's here, so
maybe
my mother-in-law's here at Lila Studio, so she can probably hear me right now.
she's probably taping you, and holy shit, you'll be getting wife number 3 pretty soon.
I don't like to name drop either, but well, it's not really name dropping. I don't like to, whatever the word is. Josie was playing too. I don't want to go into too much detail, but Josie was also playing.
Was Candy Apple in there?
She was not there. No.
I think you had something for CA, for Candy Apple.
No.
No.
I don't know how she got invited to that bachelor party.
I think she kayfabed her way in, is what she did.
I think she came with Stevie, Sweet Stevie.
She might have. I noticed Sweet Stevie. You had a tremendous affection for him. He almost looked like you were scared of him.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was really a predator.
He was, for sure. R.I.P. Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Spickle, Barrel Ass. Thanks a lot, man. Gregory Mala with his question: why did they have the Z-Man reffing all your matches? Do you remember that happening, Rip?
Not all my matches. I know he did one. I don't know about 2, but the thing about it is, it gets his face on TV as a baby face, and he's the referee in charge. So he's being a TV star without having to wrestle. He might have had an injury or something, but they didn't want the people to forget about him. So he just refereed on there, and he was a good referee, a straight referee down the line. Because I remember picking a fight with him almost, and then he threatened me, and I'd back away. But he was a good guy from anything I had with him, and he was a good looking guy, a good worker, and he was built. He was just good for the business as far as I could see it.
So he didn't just ref your matches?
I don't think so. I never really paid any attention to anybody else's match, just mine. They'd say, okay, this and that, and Z-Man's reffing. Okay. So when he's the ref, I want to make him special, so I won't break it. So whenever I do something, he'd catch me, which would get me mad. He'd cause me to lose this and that, and everybody's happy. So Z-Man's the hero.
Got some birthday wishes out there to your sister. Screamy Baboon wants to know if she's the tiny one.
Yeah, she's the tiny one. She's really 4'11 and a half, but if she has some heels on, she can be 5 foot,
All right, let's see what else we got here. Greg Smith putting your beard over. William Lynn says, he gave us a super chat a little bit ago. Could you talk about Jacques Rougeau and your matches with him? Your 4-1 record against him is very impressive. Did you know you were 4-1 against Jacques Rougeau, Rip?
No, never gave it a thought. Arn Anderson used to call Jacques. Jacques was I remember meeting him when he was real skinny in working for Nick Goulas in '78. Jock weighed about 175 pounds. Then I come back to him and I was wrestling for him with Ron Fuller in Southeastern, and Marty Lundy, who was Arn Anderson, he would call him the Canadian milk dud because he was so fat. So he'd get hot about that. His English wasn't that good. He was a good guy, and he'd been in the wrestling business his whole life because his dad used to run the Montreal territory, and his brother Raymond Rougeau, who was a guy that I admired because he was basically my age, and he was breaking into wrestling business at age 18 in Montreal. And I was just so jealous. I was go, God, this guy's dad's a wrestler, a wrestling promoter. He knows everybody. And I'm sitting there in Seymour, Indiana, don't know anybody. The only stars in town are Seymour Cyclone, Floyd Sand for basketball, Geyser Park. And that's all I could think of at the time.
You don't get much better than Floyd Sanders.
Hey, I seen where the Colts owner Jim Irsay passed away, and he gave a lot of money away and stuff. He was a good strength guy himself. He was like a 525-pound squatter years ago when he was powerlifting. But my buddy Tom Zupanzik, who was one of my best friends in college, and he come in when the Colts come to town and Irsay came to town, and Zupo had a gym in Indianapolis, and he walked right in and said, "I'm your strength coach" to Irsay. And Irsay said, "Oh yeah?" He said, "Yeah." He looked at Zupo, and Zupo gave me his resume, and he said, "I guess you are." So Zupo was Zupo. Well, at the time he was one of the world's strongest men. He had he weighed about 336, had the world neck lift record, etc. He was an Olympian, a 1980 super heavyweight Greco-Roman runner-up for the United States Olympic team in 1980. Of course, they didn't go. That was the year they had, I think it was the Afghanistan thing, and they didn't have that. But Zupo was there as strength coach for years, and he became director of business development for years and years with the Colts. But Irsay, that's the name that's it's got a lot of clout into it. And I always read where he gave a lot of money away to different things. So the Colts, I don't know what they're going to do now with Irsay. I guess we'll have to find out and see. But Jim Irsay passed away, and he was okay in my book.
Yeah, I think hadn't his daughter's been running a lot of that, and here lately, I think is what
he's had some health problems for a while.
What I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I mean, 65. He was. He was a worn 60. He'd been around. He got his shit in, as they say, you know.
Yeah, he died at 65, and here I am at 71.
65, yeah.
I'm in the prime of life at 71, though. That's all that matters. Look at center of the board right there.
$25 donation to Greg Smith. Appreciate that, center of the board. All donations today going to Greg Smith. Hey, Rip, everyone always says the death of the territories was inevitable. I disagree. Do you think that there was any way the territories could have survived the age of cable TV?
Yeah, they could have. I remember working on Superdome shows for Bill Watts. And what he did was he used his TV. He used Fritz von Erich's TVs, which would lap over with his. Then he'd usually get like 2 matches from the Superstation. In other words, they worked together. And Watts would give Ole a percentage. He would give Fritz von Erich a percentage, and he took a percentage. So in other words, they all worked together. So instead of WWE coming in and running the little guy out, and when they had the little guy out, that's how they had their feeder system years ago. They didn't have to hire a bunch of guys that were great athletes or they were guys that were all pro wrestlers. They just get somebody you hadn't seen before on cable TV, and you could still get your run. But if the promoters would have worked together, that's like if Stu Hart was going out there in Calgary, and Vince McMahon would give him some of the guys that used to be in Calgary, and then bring them in as main eventers, and then the rest of it the regular territory guys, yes, everybody would make money. Everybody would continue to work. There would be no need to have to break in all these green guys so you can possibly go in developmental, where you could always be hiring 10 years veterans, because you would have all these territories in Tampa, in North Carolina, in the old WWF, in Bruisers and Sheiks and Bob Geigels, in Jarrett's, in Fuller's, and George C. Calkins, in Watts, and Fritz, and in Calgary, Dupre, San Francisco, and the Puerto Rico, and the list goes on and on. It wouldn't have missed a beat if you would use it supplemental there. But what it was, Vince McMahon was greedy. And when he got greedy, then he would kill the territories. And then all of a sudden the boys didn't have anywhere to work. Instead of having 23 places to get work, all of a sudden there's like 3 or 4, and that's about it. So I guess I answered your question on that.
Yeah. Good question. Good answer. And it looks like he's coming back with another one.
Holy shit.
$15 center of the board. You mentioned Bill Watts. I love the UWF. It was exciting TV. Flair also said that if Crockett had stayed between Baltimore and Chicago, he'd still be in business. NWA, JCP for life.
Yeah, NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions for life. What he's saying is, you had when you was working Baltimore and Charlotte and stuff like that.
I'm still on here, Rib. Don't worry, I'm still on here. Go ahead.
Okay, and like the dividing line was like the Mississippi River. So anything east of the Mississippi River, especially down south, the NWA was just super over. When they started putting their product like to San Francisco and Los Angeles and Hawaii and Portland and Vancouver, et cetera, out west and Denver, it just wasn't as good, because the people down south and then in the eastern part, they had grown up with the NWA also. But Bill Watts, I liked working for him in the UWF. He was the old firm but fair. All he did was tell you the truth. He wouldn't lie to you. If you said you're going to work underneath, you just go out there and have an underneath match. And it would help to know what an underneath match was supposed to be. You don't be worried about getting your shit in. If you're a heel underneath, you're usually going to lose all your matches. And it's your job to make the babyface look good, no matter how bad they were. But Flair's right on in this, in my opinion, too. Baltimore was a great town when Ole Anderson first opened it up for the NWA. And then Chicago's always been one of the greatest wrestling cities in the nation. See, it was so hot in the Dumont network back in the 50s and stuff. So Chicago was just a gold mine.
I never really heard much about Baltimore, I don't feel like. But
well, see, until when if you was it's like years ago, there wasn't much, there wasn't no phones, there wasn't no internet. You could draw a big house somewhere and you wouldn't know about it unless you read it in Meltzer sheets, because wrestling magazines would be about as bogus as you can get. People, I got somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I wrote a story, made a guy up and got him put it in the top 500 or something like that as a rib, just to show. Yeah.
You said that. Yeah, we were talking about that last week on here.
So who knows with that?
Greg Smith said it's a shame the NWA promoters couldn't work together. Vince wouldn't have been able to withstand all those territories if they banded together for a common cause.
Well, it would have helped, but Vince has got all. Vince was getting on the regular markets and the cable, so he would. But then again, all the NWA things, unless if your show was in Florida and you weren't on cable, they would only know you if you worked the regular territories and stuff. So it sounds good in theory, but there's more to it. But
Yeah.
Vince was gonna. It's like Ole could be having a TV. This is just an example in Dayton, Ohio, and then Vince would find out what they were paying. They said, "Oh, we're just doing a barter deal. They're not paying." And then Vince would give them money to drop the NWA things, to drop their show and to put his show on there. And for a while, he had all that money and he would have spent all that money just to run the other people out of business. So if you were in WWF or E, whatever it was at the time, you were making more money. And you could have been working the first match with him and making more money than you did in the territories on top for years and years and years. Now with AEW, you got the same thing. You hardly working, guys making so much money, but the guys they got, they're not very good. They don't have the experience. They didn't have the 3,000 matches under their belt. But you don't have to do that now. Anyway.
Center of the Board is back with another $10 super chat. Says, tell us about Ernie Ladd and Ray Candy.
Okay. Ernie Ladd, who I'd ride with in Louisiana. And if you say, Rogers, who's the best heel you ever seen? You, Ernie. Rogers, who's the best babyface you ever seen? You, Ernie. You see, Bundy, listen to Rogers. He'll let you know what's happening around here. As Ernie would go to the shows and he'd play pinball the whole time. But when we go to his house in Houston, he'd bring in the buffet for us, would sleep at his house. He'd do all the driving, telling stories all the way. And it didn't get any better than that, listening to the pro football stories and the great pro wrestling stories from the great Ernie Ladd. Now, Ray Candy, Ray was with me when I was working for Ole Anderson in championship wrestling from Georgia in 84 and 85. And I remember we stopped at Bob Roop's mom's house. He was from somewhere in Michigan. So we went up there and she was giving desserts to Ray Candy. And Ray Candy was a big old tough guy. And he was just so nice. He was going, yes, Mrs. Roop. Yes, Mrs. Roop. Thank you, Mrs. Roop. Oh, this is so nice, Mrs. Roop. And Bob Roop's, he's losing it, just shaking his head, rolling his eyes. And Ray Candy. So he's back in my orange van as we're driving, making the next town. And the whole way there, I'm going, yes, Mrs. Roop. Thank you, Mrs. Roop. I'm so obligated, Mrs. Roop. Thank you again, Mrs. Roop. And Roop would be in the van just rolling his head there. But no, Ray was a good guy. And he was so big. He must have weighed about 380 pounds. And so, well, again, they were all big compared to me because, hell, I was lucky to weigh 212, 215 pounds or whatever. But that's a couple Ernie Ladd stories, a couple Ray Candy stories. So, center of the board, I hope you got your $10 worth, because the $10 that you're sending on this one and all the rest of them, it's all going to Greg Smith today. So thank you very much.
That's right. Oh. All right. We got some more in here. I think I saw 70QQ with the big $10. Yeah,
all
thanks,
right, baby.
Center of the Board. Rip and Vaughn, any good stories from any visits here in E-Town? Oh, I didn't know 70QQ. Maybe I did know and forgot 70QQ is from E-Town. I remember OVW coming regularly. You got any E-Town stories, Rip? I got a couple E-Town stories.
Well, they're sick of hearing me.
No, this is Ask Rip Rogers Live. Now, don't you go black because you think I'm going to answer a question. I'm going black because I'm getting some pictures ready here. I'm doing my job I should have been doing before this, and I'm just doing it just now because I'm late. But I do got a couple E-Town stories. So here's the first E-Town story. The reason my face is all messed up, only half of it works, this half doesn't work. Rip's gone. Happened in E-Town. I got Bell's palsy. I ended up in the emergency room at E-Town. I had the Jim Ross face real bad one day. Got there. We did ring setup. So people thought I was all messed up on drugs or something because my face was so messed up. Went and checked in the bathroom and half the side was just dropped. Thought I had a stroke or something. So I went to the emergency room in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That's my one E-Town story. And then me and my partner, APOC, Victor from the Ascension, we were way over in E-Town. And we had a couple great fans. I think Mary was her name. I got a picture right here. Mary was the big fan of ours with her daughter. That's me on the shirt. All those pictures are of me. It's Fingers, finger chopping time. She called me Fingers. And that shirt was made, all pictures of me. So I don't know, 70QQ, do you know Mary? Is Mary still alive and well and with us? If so, tell her I said hello. But Mary was a big super fan out of E-Town. So check that shirt out, Rip. All those pictures are me. It's finger chopping time or something it says. She was out of E-Town. And I got Bell's palsy in E-Town. That's where I went to the emergency room, was in E-Town.
Now, could you get Bell's palsy from like any sexual shenanigans or anything
From
like
a
that?
toilet seat.
The toilet seat? Holy shit, I better clean my toilet then.
No, you don't get it from, nobody really knows how you get it from everything I gather. It's like a nerve damage thing or something, but some people's goes back, some don't, some kind of do. So mine kind of did. Mine was a lot worse than now. I couldn't even shut my eye in the beginning at all.
Now you're in prime of life.
Prime of life, baby. POL. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Start.
The weasel eating lunch at Poplar Street. Going take a nap. Hope all my friends out there and have a great weekend. Go Pacers.
Lunch at Poplar Street and a nap. That's his day today, man. Weasel's he's got it figured out, doesn't he?
Well, he's had it figured out for years. He still lives with mom. He's got it down. That's why he's Manny the Weasel Valverde.
Got to get that nap in before the big Pacer game tonight.
Yeah.
Got to have his energy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Baboon. I don't know who he's talking about. Who's never heard of him? I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, yeah, was it painful? No, it was not. Any symptoms come on? No. I actually driving to E-Town by myself, eating a sub sandwich, and I started biting my lip. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize it was like paralyzed or whatever. It hit. No pain, no nothing. I did have pain in the back of my ear. I will take that back. I was in a match with APOC. I think it was a TV match a couple nights before. Might have been our ladder match, actually. And I kept telling him that he broke my ear. Kept saying, "You broke my ear." So I don't know. Maybe it did have something to do with it. Who knows? Center of the board, $5, baby. Hey, Rip, ever wrestled Tommy Rich?
Yeah, I was working a program with Tommy Rich years ago when I was working for Ole. And I was in the main event at the Omni, which was a big deal. And then I was working the main event at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's when Crockett bought in. As soon as he bought in, I was fired. They gave me a couple of weeks to figure it out. Well, that's what happens when you're people don't like you, because I was going to be pushing, because I would have been a star there. Excuse me. And then, but yeah, I worked a program with Tommy, and the last time I worked with him was in the main event, ladies and gentlemen, at the Omni, the world famous Omni in Atlanta. So center of the board, $5, $5 going to Greg. Thanks for the question.
I wrestled Tommy Rich. Remember that night? Look at Rip. Rip's in a suit right there.
Yeah, where was that at? Remember, was it a town?
Somewhere in Tennessee, I think, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Was that, who was that for?
I think that's the same night. Why were you in a? Yeah, Paris, Tennessee. My mom got the picture. She always dates it. 2019, Paris, Tennessee.
I wonder if that was for
Parsons.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
That's when they were doing that TV, whatever. They were doing those streaming
Yeah.
app TV shows or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he told us in the big speech before the show, the 2 tapings, no shenanigans. This is Parsons, Mr. Parsons, Rock Parsons. No shenanigans, no ball shots, no nothing. Tommy Rich was not around for the meeting.
Oh,
the opening spot to our match was a ball shot.
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah. And I'm looking left, looking right, like, is this on candid camera? Is this a rib or what? Right?
Yeah, that's crazy, but it was fun. Tommy Rich was that was a lot of fun, man. A guy got to grow up watching on TV, and then get to wrestle him. It was cool. I marked out, that's for sure. We got us another super chat. I was getting ready to pull up a picture, but center of the board keeping me busy here. Who did you like best, Ole or Ron Fuller?
God, that's a different kind of question. Now, Ron Fuller, I never heard him raise his voice to anybody or cuss at anybody, no matter what happened. But Ole, let's just say I got a lot of my language from Ole. I got a lot of my aggressiveness from Ole. And between Randy Savage cussing and Ole cussing, I developed some pretty good. I think I have a doctorate in cussology, and Ole would be he would be proud of that. Ron Fuller was all business. Robert Fuller was monkey business, which when Robert Fuller was the boss, you made so much money. When Ron was the boss, you made a whole lot more. You had more fun with Robert, but you made more money with Ron. And I sure like to work for the Fullers because they was easy on the head, just like Ole was. So I'm just going to give it a tie. But if I want to get into some shenanigans, Ole could be a whole lot older than me, but I felt like we were on the same level as far as getting into mischievousness.
God, I've got a few. Let's see. Oops, can't get that. There we go. Thank you, center of the board. Appreciate it. Center of the board. I'm assuming a lot of your questions. Have we talked about center of the board? Where are you from? Are you from the South? Or are you old school? I guess.
I think he's from the center of the board.
Center of the board, baby.
Yeah.
We had a question on. We talked about Tojo, I think, last week. I got a photo album out here. Just started digging through some pictures. This is Seymour, Indiana.
And Tojo's choking me with that kendo stick.
Little Tojo action from Seymour. I know we talked about the Fargo. That's Danny, right?
Yeah, fabulous Danny Fargo from Nicholasville, Kentucky. Really Audie Hager.
And then this was a random one in there, but I have the Big and Little
Show.
Sexy. Big
Show
Show
and Little Sexy, yeah.
2 Foot Fred, for any of you, what was he, Big and Rich? I think he was in Big and Rich. He was the little man in the country group, Big and Rich. Another Seymour, Indiana legend right there, Little Sexy. Remember he had the big match at Seymour, Oktoberfest. The Red Hornet, what is it, the Red Hornet or the Little Hornet against Little Sexy or whatever?
Yeah, it was God, that was golly.
Two brothers.
I hadn't even thought nothing about that. It's awesome.
George Weingroff question came up today. There's the all-time leading scorer in Butler history in Seymour, Indiana. Well, I don't know if she is Seymour anymore, but Butler history, Julie Von Dilligan, Julie Shelton now, and George Weingroff and my cousin Rachel right there. How about that?
Yeah. And you know who the guy under the hood is there? You know the guy's dressing up like Freddie? You know who that is?
Probably Mike Samples. He dressed up as everybody else.
No, it was George's brother.
Was it?
Yeah. It was Herbie, or let me see, maybe it was George had a couple brothers. Or it was either Herbie or Eric Weingroff was who it was.
Then I found a picture of David Flair's last match. Me and David Flair, the Ramada Inn with the 8-foot ceilings. Last match.
It looks like you're touching the ceiling, just doing nothing.
Last match, David Flair had an OVW. I apparently got him fired. It was so rotten. I don't know why they put him in with me, but they were like, all right, if you pull this guy through a match, we'll keep you. If not, you're done. And I was terrible. So they didn't.
It might have been self-sabotage. In other words, they was going to cut him anyway.
Then, truth or dare, I got Josie there hanging out with my niece. That's the clone rip. That's little Lexi.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Josie and Lexi just turned 22. So there she is, a little one. She just turned 22 now.
Now, Josie's probably still thinking about when you went in that bachelorette room and she come in, Candy Apple come in, but Josie had all the utensils and the oil and whatever they was going to rub all over you. If that was purely speculation or whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about. Shane Parks, $1.99 super
sticker. Baby.
See if I missed a question somewhere from Shane. If not, get one in there. 70QQ says, what cut of super chats makes it to us guys? I think it's a 70-30, I believe. 70-30. Yeah, is there another way? I've posted many times the PayPal. Some people do send directly to PayPal. You can always do that if you want. And just do friends and family. That'd be 100%. I'll make sure this gets passed along too, but you can always do that way if it's easier. If you got a PayPal and you want to do that address, you can always do that. But yeah, 70-30. It's just typically easier for people once we get started too, and it just flows better. So, I'm used to the 70%, so I'm not too worried about it. But there is another way that we could get a little bit more out of it. Yep.
I was wondering if anybody was going to ask us some questions about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That's the hottest thing on TV now.
See, Angel Reese was 0 of 8 last night from the field.
I don't know, but Angel's the greatest girl at getting her own rebounds. She can't dribble. She can't shoot. Now, she can play defense pretty good, and she can rebound because she gets those extra rebounds. The goddamn Caitlin Clark's like, man, she's just one in a zillion. There ain't never been nobody like her. And then, of course, Angel, says, well, people look at me too. They don't just look at her. Angel might save the league.
Yeah, I think she better. Somebody asked her about saying that last year, and she said, "Next question." She didn't want to double down on her being the savior of the league, I think.
Oh, God. Well, just remember, wrestling is Rip Rogers. You can get some Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese questions in here.
That's right.
I got
another picture. I'm getting fired up here.
Okay.
William Lynn said, what is your take? He did do a super chat a little bit ago. What is your take on what happened between Ron Fuller and Bob Roop? I've heard people like Kevin Sullivan dismiss Roop, but if there was nothing, how did Malenko, Garvin, and Orton go along?
Well, Bob tried to do a takeover in Roy Shire's territory in San Francisco before that. And Bob was an Olympian, and he was broke in by Eddie Graham, which, to be smart to the business, I don't think you could be broken in by anybody better than that. Bob was the legitimate shooter, where he would just destroy all the guys that would have wrestling tryouts in Tampa. So Bob was a mature guy. He was a real smart guy anyway, but he always wanted to be a boss because, and I found this out when I was at OVW and when I was in ICW, you might take in a whole lot of money, but your expenses might be a whole lot less, or your expenses might be more than you take in. Because like in ICW, when Roop, Garvin, Orton they were part owners with me and Leap and Randy Savage, his dad, and George Weingroff. We paid the boys more than we paid ourselves. But when there was bills, like we had to buy a new ring truck, we had to buy a new diesel van for the baby faces, we had to buy a new diesel down for a diesel van for the heels. We had to pay for the newspapers. We had to pay for the radios. We had to pay for all the taxation and stuff on all the shows and stuff. You're drawing what you think's a lot of money, but then again, at the end of the week, you're basically in the negative. So we would pay ourselves a salary. Now, when we brought Crusher Broomfield in, who was the one-man gang, who was George Gray, when he come in to work with us, all of a sudden, we started making some goddamn money. All of a sudden, we was getting almost a big dividend every week on top of our salary. But in the wrestling business, it's up and down and up and down, and the bills are always going to be in there. And the people, but anyway, the thing with Bob, he found out it was a whole lot of stress to be one of the owners, and your money's guaranteed, and you can be you can just be a normal guy, being a pro wrestler, going up and down the roads and making more money than a lot of promotions. And Bob was a good pro, so he never had any trouble getting any work. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that was great, man. Yeah. So
You know how
Screaming Baboon still helping me my Bell's palsy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it could be. They say nerve damage, inner ear damage could be to that as well. Greg Smith says, "Thank you all so much. I can't put into words how much this means to me." So that's cool that we're doing this for Greg today. Hope you're hanging in there, man. Glad you could be on the show today. Big George in green says, Les Thornton called himself the man of 1,000 holds. Did anyone ever match that legitimately?
Well, there's more holds now than there was then.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't ever see anybody use a hold now.
Well, that's a good point too. But when you're trying to be a wrestling specialist, that's like you could, that's what Dean Malenko was too, the man of 1,000 holds. So you can take any of those guys' matches and break them down, and all of a sudden you can have stuff that's old, but it's new again, because guys today, hell, if you have a fucking tie up and grab a goddamn headlock and just work simple chain wrestling that's not too perfect and too smooth, it's a miracle, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Because you used today, we got to start out with the dive, and then we got to do the thing with the moonsault over, or you flip backwards and go through the table, or you hit one guy and 92 guys fall down and stuff. I would just rib everybody. I'd say, "Oh yeah, do the thing out on top of it," and I just move and let him kill himself, and I just fucking laugh.
I know in practice, like when we would do those different like heat drills and hold drills, you could never repeat or whatever.
Right.
Man, the best person I thought in those drills that could always just show me, oh, here's 10 different ways to take the arm or arm holds or whatever, was Nova. Nova could do.
Oh yeah.
Nova could. He had a different hold for.
Yes.
Which is pretty wild coming from somebody from ECW, you know, like that he was. That had his fundamental, had his basics, and had all that kind of stuff. He was.
Yeah, that is funny coming from the ECW, but at least the ECW, they did have some of the smaller guys that could really wrestle, but it was mostly, instead of, it was hit a guy with the kendo stick 92 times, and or go under the ring and pull something out, then go under the ring and pull out something bigger, then go out underneath the ring and pull out something even bigger. But no, Nova was really good on chain. Nova was just a real good wrestler, was what it was.
Yeah.
He was a smart guy. He was an intelligent guy. He was a good guy, which in the wrestling business, that don't get you going very far. You got to be an asshole.
Senator Board said he's from Mobile, living in Ohio now, but moving back to Mobile soon.
Shit, I used to work in Mobile every week there for Fuller and Southeastern.
George said Center of the Board was Paul Lind on, is it Lind? On Hollywood Square. Center of the Board, Hollywood Squares, member of the Hollywood. Greg Smith's in Delaware. We're figuring out where some other people are living at right now. Said, what you had the David Flair's last match? Gregory Muller. I say that I'm almost 100% sure. I don't remember him. I mean, I was always down there at that time. I don't remember him having another match. I don't think he had another match. I think he got released like pretty much right after it. Like it was like the next Monday. I think he was packing his bags, leaving. Thing is, David Flair, if you ever go watch his matches on WCW, when they brought him up on TV with no training, like he about killed himself just running the ropes a couple times because he didn't know how. He'd never been in a ring. Rip, did you ever remember him being on national TV in WCW with no, like, basically no training at all?
No, if I did, I didn't watch it. But
Oh, it was horrible. He actually was getting, a lot better, fairly decent at OVW, but I guess they didn't.
Well, he would have had all that pressure on him, right? He'd be nervous as hell and just start him at the bottom and give him a good year. And in a year, he'd been ready for his first match. But what they want to do is they want to throw him in where they don't have a chance. With all that pressure on him, he don't have a chance to be any good. It's not fair, but nobody said anything in the wrestling business was fair.
Yeah. I had one more picture I wanted to show. I know I've shown this probably on here before, but look.
All the top stars.
All the top stars, Rip, with his eyes closed.
Are my eyes closed?
Yeah.
I can't see that far.
You see a photo bomber back there behind Danny?
Is that Julie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I never noticed that before.
Where's your suit at, Rip? I mean, we got Cornette in his suit and Danny in his suit, and
well, where's your suit at?
I wrestled. I was wrestling that night.
Was I running the show that night?
No, this was the OVW 500 show when they had the founding fathers there, or 1000th show, or whatever it was.
Oh, I must have had to be there then.
Yeah, it's when you got in the ring and barely could get in the ring. Remember?
Well, hell, that was when I was good.
Frank Pickle Barrel, $5 super chat. Rip, how old were you when you got your first brown sugar cookie?
Let me see. God, I didn't. It
took you a while to get that way, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I had to get addicted to the brown sugar cookies, and now I don't want no vanilla cookies no more.
Vanilla wafer?
Yeah, I don't want no vanilla wafers. I'm just addicted to get me some 2% milk, a gallon of 2% milk, and some whole bunch of brown sugar cookies, and I'll be fine.
I got pressure on me here. $10 super chat. Who was the biggest douche you met in the business that you were once a fan of?
Just tell them somebody that's dead,
I don't. I'm trying to even think if there was somebody
was anybody ever rude to you? That's what I was wondering.
I mean,
besides me.
No, a lot of those guys, like, you were having me in matches and stuff in OVW when I was the only guy that was a non-contract having matches. Now, some of them were in the Battle Royals.
Right.
But, like, you put me in a 6-man, the very first, I had one class, and you put me in a 6-man with 5 contract guys.
You don't want to be in there or what?
Well, you said, was anybody ever rude to me? When I'm now the guy that's only had one class.
Yeah.
And I got to be in with 5 contract guys. No, they weren't probably the nicest people to me. Like, they're like, what the hell? Why are you in this match?
Well, they ain't smart, are they?
And then they're like, is that Rip's nephew? Is that Rip's cousin? That's not Rip's son, is it?
Illegitimate.
So I wouldn't say they were. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not even trying not to throw
yourself
somebody under the bus. Like, I legit can't think of. I can tell you in the back, like at WWE shows, people that weren't friendly was Shawn Michaels wasn't, they tell you to make sure you introduce yourself and talk to people, whatever in the back. Shawn Michaels wanted nothing to do with talking to any extras at all.
Right.
Even Jericho, I was kind of surprised. Jericho was kind of like that too. I thought Jericho would have been like there were
Christmas,
guys like the Undertaker. I mean, he talked to all of us, like but I would say
but-
Shawn Michaels probably was
okay.
for sure the biggest
Well,
douche of those kind of people.
it's like Sean. If he was here today, I would say, Sean, no, I ain't buying nothing of you being saved. Fuck you. No, I said, no, I know the real you, and all you're doing is ribbing and acting. So, no fucking way.
Now I won't say this was a douche story, and I've told this story, but Sean O'Hare scared the shit out of me. I've told this story. It was one of my first matches. It was a battle royal. Nick Eugene took me in the back, and it was OVW. Sean O'Hare asked me if I want to see a picture of or a video of him having sex with his girlfriend or wife or something.
Oh, so no matter what you answered, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, I'm screwed either way.
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew I was screwed. Like it wasn't one of those like, oh no, I didn't even react hardly. I was like, I don't know, man. This just didn't seem like a good question to answer or something. So he acted like he got pissed anyway, and he was like, "Oh, are you in a battle royal tonight?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'll see you out there." I was like, "Shit."
Yeah.
He never even came over to me, never touched me, nothing. I thought the whole time it was like the kid in class saying he's going to beat you up at recess, and you sat there and worried about it all day. Recess coming around, sat back all night worrying about this battle royal. Sean O'Hare beating the hell out of me, and he never even came over to me at all.
But they wouldn't. But if they didn't like you, they wouldn't rib you.
Well, they didn't know me. It's my first time I was there.
Okay.
So I was a little apprehensive. Sorry if I didn't answer your question, 70QQ. I don't really know. I don't know. What else we got? Frank's in New Jersey by Princeton University. Frank, did you go to Princeton? What do you think, Rip? You think Frank was in Princeton Ivy League?
I think he might have went there for like a week and then decided to transfer to a community college and get a degree 18 years later.
Shane Park says, "Don't forget Johnny Eagles, Rip. You know Johnny Eagles."
Yeah, Johnny Eagles. He was big in. He used to work for Nick Goulas and stuff, but he was the Englishman, and he was the whatever hold you got him in, he could escape from. Johnny Eagles. But he was wrestling for that Kentuckiana promotion. Nick Goulas was at the time, which was Goulas's and Welch's and Jerry Jarrett's together. But then he had that English accent, so that sounded funny.
Frank said he bought cocaine in Princeton.
Okay.
Or Coke. Maybe it was just Coke, the drink.
Oh, Coca-Cola, baby.
Screamy Baboon said they all say Jimmy Snuka's son Deuce was a douche. Deuce was real cool to me. I like Deuce. You had Deuce in class for a while, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was he like? I thought he was good, fine.
Well, he wasn't no trouble. I mean, there was never no trouble. If you want to fucking, if I yell at you and yell back, it's all a rib anyway. Just breaks the ice and it makes it more entertaining. But he was never any problem. He just sat back and did as he told. He only had to put up with my ass for so long. And then, and that's the way it was.
I did some stuff with him. He was always super nice to me. I don't know. Out of that group, Mike Cruel. Do you remember Mike Cruel? Mike Cruel was always a dick to me for some reason.
I remember the name, but I can't place him right now.
Yeah, he wasn't very nice, but I don't think he ever got called up. I think his dad was a wrestler, if I remember correctly. Anybody remember Mike Cruel? I think he was a East Coast guy, Northeast guy. I think his dad might have wrestled. He was under contract. He was in OVW under contract, but I don't think he ever got called up. He wasn't very nice.
Well, was he shorter than you?
Oh, well, most people were, but yes, he was.
He probably hated you because as Ricky Ferrara would say, who was the great referee for Bill Watts, he'd look at me, he goes, "You think," and he was Igor Putsky too. He was about 5'6". He go, "You think I'm short, don't you?" No
Yeah.
matter what, he is paranoid. And then he was coming in doing reps with 400 on the bench, right? And I can't remember who it was, but we're in the gym in Louisiana, and Ricky's doing his thing with his bench pressing, and all of a sudden he goes, "Well, Ricky, it doesn't matter. You only got to push your arms out about 4 inches. They're short." Office, fuck you, DiBiase. Fuck you, DiBiase. You cocksucker. That's who it was. DiBiase.
I used to always tell people that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but Cruel was short. Like he was under 6 foot. He was like Rip Rogers short, you know.
I gonna say Gomer Powell. You 6 foot? You look 6 foot on Gomer Powell. I guess that was in the 60s. So what the hell? I guess you can't remember that one. Hey, I was average American height at one time, 5'10" and a half, before I got older and shrunk down to probably 5'9", if that, from my legs bending in and everything. Damn.
Holy shit! I was just getting ready to leave, and hope this isn't a typo. 70QQ.
Oh wow.
Hope you didn't get too many zeros in there. You better answer this one, Rip.
Okay.
Tell us the craziest rumor you heard about the Fabs in their prime. Guaranteed money, picture money, or rat stories. Anything. What do you got? Any crazy?
Well, let's
You got to
just
spill
say,
the beans for 100
let's
bingos.
let's just say the Fabs were over.
No, we got to go further.
Okay, wait a minute. That was comma.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. The Fabs, which was the great Steve Kern and the great Stan Lane. And this is before Stan had went off with Jimmy's, one of the many revolving pieces of the Midnight Express. And Steve Kern was a great star that had one of the world's greatest storyline in Tampa about his father, who was a real prisoner of war. And that thing was just wow. But the Fabs, they knew what the hell was going on. They knew how to make money, whether whenever they would be one of the first ones in line, or when you go into the building. Now, years ago, the heels usually weren't allowed to sell pictures. The baby faces were making all the picture money. But when I'd work with Adrian Street, he would do funny stuff, characters of me, and he would sell them, but then he would give me the money. So just think, if you're in the wrestling business and you're a heel, they're going to slit your tires. They hate you. They want to throw stuff at you, spit on you, etc. And the baby faces, but you have to lead the matches, which makes you happy. But the baby faces, all they got to do is shut up and listen, and they get the hot rats buying them stuff, driving them around, buying all your gimmicks, etc. And the hot girls throwing themselves at the baby faces. It took a real sleazut to be a heel girl. But anyway, so Stan and Steve had all been both heels and baby faces in their career. So they knew how to make that money with Memphis with their, it seems like there was a video of the Fabs every week in Memphis watching their TV. And then they had Jackie Fargo as like their manager and getting them over. And Jackie Fargo was like Dick the Bruiser of Indianapolis wrestling, or the Sheik, or like Eddie Graham in Tampa. You couldn't get any more put over in that territory by having Fabulous Jackie Fargo being like the manager, or his recommendation, this is his team or whatever. So they were young, in the prime of life, jacked, projected on TV. They were living the dream, and I bet they wish they had those years in their life back again, because them some bitches were over and making money.
Okay, can you move that thing out of your way? Well, there you go. And then the other thing is, any rumors? I mean, surely was there any? I mean, they had to have like some sex rumors, some gay rumors. They had all those videos. They had those pictures done when they were in their little, like, bikini underwear. Or whatever.
They had some of the best it looked like they were homosexual pictures ever. I just laughed. I said, man, this is a hell of a rib, because these guys are just studs, and they're just because you're going to have the girls and the effeminate guys buying all their pictures. So I look back at it, they were smarter than hell. If they could have had the fabulous Jackie Fargo, him strutting around in some bikini things, doing that too, hell, he might have become a big gimmick seller himself too. No, but the Fabs, they was over. They was jacked. They was built. It wasn't their first day in the county fair as far as working. They knew how to make money, and both of them also knew how to save money.
So they weren't gay. No gay
No.
rumor stories.
No.
Okay. All right, just making sure. Thanks, 70QQ. It's pretty cool. He said he was just waiting to the grand finale. Make sure everybody else donated first.
Holy shit.
It's going to be hard to top that. Going to be hard to follow that. That's pretty good right there.
Well, we had Manny the Weasel on today, which I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to put him over. Of course, he's never donated nothing in his life. As a matter of fact, he was trying to get us to give him free shit. So, Manny, poop on you, and everybody else, thanks for donating to Greg today. That's all I can say.
That's right. It's a good day today. Glad y'all could join today. We had several super chats. Big one there at the end was awesome too. Good questions today, Rip. We have some good questions come out today. Bull Digging wants to know if I'm in the dark. I did turn the light on because I was trying to take some pictures of pictures in here, and I was trying to avoid the glare. And I kind of like the dark now that it's over and done with. But I did put a link of Greg's also GoFundMe if you weren't ever able to donate today. If you don't follow him, maybe on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, you can go back there and help out that way. But yeah, it was a good day today. Rip, you got any big what is this, Memorial Day, Labor Day? I never know which one this is.
Well, somebody told me it was I guess it was Memorial Day.
Got a big Memorial Day? You going to the Indy 500? What do you got going on this weekend?
If I can get a workout in and lay in the bed and do nothing, that's about all I do. Look at stuff on the phone.
Okay.
Listen that.
All right. Well,
prime of life. I need to get a haircut, and I need to get this beard trimmed, and then just let it grow. Then I could, if I get my head buzzed all the way to the like I was losing my hair, which I am anyway. I could take that all the way down and then shave the beard off. And I could probably last a year on the hair before I get it cut. And then the beard, because I just hate shaving that stupid beard. God, it's rough being so above average looking, in the prime of life.
I wouldn't know, man. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what it would be to be like Rip Rogers. Greg Smith says, thank you guys. Thank you, Rip. Thank you, Vaughn.
Well, we all know that there's nothing better than that. Thoughts and prayers to you, Greg. Hang in there, baby.
Yeah, and kayfabe that last comment, Greg. All right, we'll see you next weekend. We're out of here.
All right.